lecture series we are starting today with our academic and knowledge partner iNurture. Okay, so I will give some brief introduction before we start the guest lecture. See, you all may be aware that from several months we are seeing posters where iNurture people are telling which courses they are offering for Jain University students. Okay. Now we have started some new innovative courses in IT apart from the traditional MCA and MSIT program we have. Okay. And these courses are on current technologies like information security, infrastructure management, IT infrastructure. Okay. And then we have mobile applications, we have animation, storage and cloud computing, like that. And we have already started the PG programs in these courses, and MSc information security, information and then MSc storage and cloud technology, MSc animation, and BSc visual effects we have already started. Okay, some programs are running in 9th block campus and some of it are running in JC Road campus. Okay, now what happens is these are new courses which are in demand in industry, and naturally in a traditional course like MCA and MSIT we have to include it as elective. So we want to give the same benefits which students who are pursuing these courses also have for both MCA and MSIT students, because in these fields only you will find more application, more development, more employment also when you graduate and go out of our university. So in this regard, we were talking with iNurture and they have come out with a series of lectures, and it will be on different technologies which are in current today. So as a part of that series, we are starting storage and cloud technology as the topic today, and the topic is cloud technology, the future of enterprise computing. Okay, so this is an initiative which is done by the Department of Computer Science of Jain University and iNurture. So on behalf of the Department of Computer Science, I welcome all the faculty members, the speakers from iNurture. Okay, and I am also welcome you, all of you, the students for whom we are organizing this lecture. It is basically for students who are in our university and we want them to get these new cutting edge technologies. Okay. Now I will briefly introduce our speaker of the day, Mr. Ashok. Mr. Ashok has a wide spanning career of 27 years in the field of business development, strategy and customer experience management. He has mostly worked in Wipro and Cisco, and he has served as Senior Vice President in Cisco India. Okay, he was also CEO of WEP, Web Solution, a medium-sized technology company. He has first-hand experience in implementing ERP and CRM solution. At present, Ashok is the vertical head and for the IT education in iNurture Educations. Okay, and now with additional responsibility of the digital content. He holds a bachelor's in engineering from BITS Pilani and MBA from IIM Calcutta. So I am very glad to welcome Mr. Ashok on behalf of the Computer Science. Thank you, sir. And I have requested Mr. Ashok to go through the introduction of cloud technology because it's a new field and people having different versions of understanding of cloud. I have requested Ashok to tell where you people fit in as a IT technology people, what type of knowledge you need to acquire, whether it's a possibility that we are introducing as elective to the your group also. Okay, so now I'll request Ashok to deliver the lecture. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Achyuta, and good morning. Excellent. So, before I start the lecture, just a couple of questions. So, how many of you have not heard of cloud computing? So, I presume everybody has heard of cloud computing. How many of you have some idea what cloud computing is all about? Can somebody raise their hands? So, reasonable idea of what cloud computing is all about. Is someone bold enough to step forward and give a shot at it, saying what is cloud computing? Anyone? Okay, I understand. Welcome to this seminar on cloud computing. In this seminar, we'll talk about what is cloud computing, what are the various technologies that make up cloud computing, what are the various vendors which play in cloud computing. We will look at small case studies which show why cloud computing is becoming very important and why enterprises and medium businesses will have to adopt cloud computing. And finally, we will look at what is the relevance for us. How do we exploit this upcoming, which is going to be the big future, and how do we participate in it? So this is the summary of what I'll be talking about, and it's more for you to get a good perspective on how this technology works and what are the factors which are making up this technology. We will also discuss briefly at the end of this session question and answers, where we can talk about how do you, if you are interested in it, how do you get more into it, what are the things you need to learn, and how. I would like to start by thanking Jain Management for giving us this opportunity, and also Professor Achyuta for providing this opportunity. For this presentation, I've used slides from various places. I'd like to give the credits to them, and in most of the cases, I've also mentioned the credits in the slides. So, I'd like to talk about disruptive technologies. So, disruptive technology is a technology which changes the way existing technology works. It changes the way in terms of usage, it changes the way in terms of price, any particular part of the technology. So, cloud technologies is definitely a disruptive technology. And to explain more what is disruptive technology, to put it in perspective, I'll give an example. The first disruptive technology which came in was internet technologies. If you remember the years 1995 to 1997, till then internet was really not available. Most of the time people were communicating on email, getting onto some folder, some server, and so on. Networking started picking up internationally, and at the same time browsers were invented. So it started with Mozilla, then moved on to Netscape, and a lot more browsers came in. When browsers start coming in, you find that accessing information was very, very easy, and you could access information very differently. Internet technology really changed the way computing worked. So, a lot of browsing technologies came in, portals started setting up, and most commerce today is done by e-commerce. So it has really spawned various things, and finally, if you look at it, there is no company which doesn't have a great portal or a website. There is no company which lives without a e-commerce website. Really made a huge change in terms of internet technologies. And if you look at it, I remember, looking at that, and one of the decisions for me to join Cisco at that time was because it was the leader in internet technology, and it paid off very well, because at that time Cisco was growing, internet technology grew tremendously. It was a great experience to jump. It was a bit risky at that time, but most of us knew that the risk would pay off, because it was a great experience as the particular technology was growing very fast. The second area of disruption we talk about is the smartphone. This was iPhone, which came in. It came in two parts. It came in as iPhone, and it came in through apps. So this was launched by Steve Jobs somewhere around 2008. So there are two things which came in there. Suddenly you find that at the palm of your hand, Earlier you would be having a voice call and maybe having an SMS. Sure, all of you have seen this. Suddenly you find you can have browsers, you can have apps. Apps actually help you to run your life far better than what you do with a computer. You have various types of apps. I'm sure all of you know what apps are all about. And today we have a term called the app economy. Because of this, of cell phones, smartphones, and because of also tablets, the world will never be the same again. And if you know, the laptop sales across the world is steadily decreasing, and almost everybody is using either a smartphone or a tablet today. So disruptive technology, huge opportunities and a lot of displacements. Similarly, cloud is another disruptive technology. So what is cloud computing? Cloud computing is something which I can say is pay as you go, pay as a service, and so on. I'll give you an example which will help you understand cloud computing. I'm sure a lot of your homes or relatives' homes would be having a car. If you have a car, you need a garage for a car. You need to pay insurance for the car. You need to make sure the tire, and you need to maintain it. Maybe twice a year you need to maintain it. You have to provide service. You have to do so many things. It's a minimum cost of keeping a car. And then, of course, you have to put petrol and you have to run the car. These are the various things. Now, supposing I come and tell you, listen, you are spending every day maybe 100 rupees a day for taking a car and going. Why don't you just dial me? I will give you a virtual seat in a car. It will come to you whenever you want, and I will do it at 20 rupees. So you look back and say, what are the benefits? I don't need a garage. I don't need to have maintenance. I don't need to, make sure my car is up and and my insurance is paid and so on. And the cost is only 20 rupees. You say, listen, this is definitely a game changer. And obviously, all of you would definitely say, I would like to go for this particular thing because it is much cheaper, it is far more convenient. Right? Because the scale, the price, and the way it works is far cheaper. Similarly, when we come to cloud technology, it is very, very different because everything is as per a service. So if you look at it, so one of the critical things which people need in an organization is automatic backups, uptime, SLA, and maintenance. So for example, if you take a university like Jain, obviously you have a very effective portal where there is payment also is being done. You will need backup for the portal at any point in time. The portal needs to be accessed at any point in time, right? It can never be down because students are logging in across the globe and it needs to be up. Or you take a bank like HDFC Bank. You can do banking on the transaction and it's always up. You need automatic upgrades. Automatic upgrades is like doing maintenance on a car. You need automatic upgrades because you may be running with Windows 2007. Some new applications will not work with Windows 2010 and so on. You need automatic upgrades. Obviously, if I am an application, I will need web and mobile access from anywhere. Right? Today, there is no point having an application which you cannot access from anywhere, which you can access only from the particular university. You are obviously limiting that particular application. You need web-based integration, very important. Elastic pay as you go, scale up and down. We shall talk more about this, but this is a wonderful thing. If you say that this is the portal I want, this is the number of transactions I'm using, and this is how much I will pay, the value proposition is very, very different. Customers will definitely sign up for it. The example I gave you is that if you want a car, if you want a car at your doorstep, it's going to cost you 20 rupees. And you can choose the type of car if you want. You can say maybe a normal car would cost you 20 rupees, AC car 30 rupees, maybe a Mercedes-Benz at 70 rupees. All are available. Whereas if you had your car, you have only your car in which you can go. That is the kind of value proposition, pay as you go service is what the cloud brings to people. Multi-tenanting will come to it later. So this is why cloud computing is going to be the force of the future. Earlier people used to say, I have a processor which can do X million transactions per second. Today you ask him, how many millions of transactions per second do you want? How much of hard disk do you want? What are the applications do you want? And give him a price. So the CIO, right, the head of IT in a particular organization, really takes decision in a very, very different method. He does not look at saying, how do I increase this, how do I increase? No. He says, this is what I want and how do I get there? Right? And therefore, everybody has no choice but to start moving towards cloud computing, maybe in various stages. So I'll summarize what is cloud computing. It is basically distributed computing over the internet. We shall see more of it as we go by. It is a disruptive technology, right? I will show you why it is disruptive technology, because cloud computing is made up of data centers, and I will play a small video which will show you how these things are changing dramatically. Very high impact for enterprise, SMB and customers. I'm taking a small case study, one for small and medium business, one for enterprise. Okay. Is it better now? One for small and medium business, one for the enterprise, which will show you why how fast they can move towards cloud computing. So this is a small video by Cisco which talks about how data is growing at a tremendous pace and how cloud computing technologies are going to play a role.
Between 2011 and 2016, global data center traffic will grow nearly fourfold, going from 1.8 zettabytes in 2011 to 6.6 zettabytes in 2016. What does that look like? Well, 1 zettabyte is equal to 6 trillion bytes. That's 21 zeros. Streaming for the world's entire population. And in 2016, that'll be about 7.5 billion people. The majority of this data center traffic is not generated by end users, but by data center processes and procedures. Storage, production, and development content that stays within the data center makes up 76% of the traffic. An additional 7% of traffic is generated between data centers, while 17% of data center traffic come from end user activities like web surfing, email, and video streaming. In 2011, about 39% of data center traffic came from cloud-based services and solutions. But by 2016, almost 64% of all data center traffic will be in the cloud. And the shift to cloud computing is changing geographically as well. In 2011, North America generated the most cloud traffic, followed by Asia Pacific and Western Europe. But by 2016, Asia Pacific will become the cloud traffic leader, followed by North America and Western Europe. The world is growing fast. Are you ready for cloud computing?
So I'm just summarizing 3 important points in that particular movie. Data traffic is going exponentially, and when data traffic going more and more exponentially, the cloud computing and data in the cloud is going far more exponentially. The third important point is that Asia Pac will be playing a big role in terms of cloud computing. This slide is another slide which talks about success in the cloud. I'm sure all of you know these companies. We have Facebook, which is a social networking site. We have Amazon, which is basically infrastructure in the cloud provider. We have Salesforce.com, which is a CRM solutions provider. And of course Google. These are some of the world's most valuable companies today. Each of them is worth $50 billion to $300 billion, $200 billion today. And all of them run on the cloud. All of them are, by and large, cloud companies. It's too cold here. So, we will look at types of, now we saw what was cloud computing, why it is disruptive. Now we'll move on to the next topic, which is types of cloud computing. Right? So, look at this diagram. there are devices which are, there's a cloud and there are devices outside this cloud. The devices outside this cloud are the end user devices. They could be terminals, they could be cell phones, they could be laptops, they could be servers, and so on. They access material in the cloud. The topmost part of the diagram, which is called application. Application is something which you use. You can say email is an application. You can say payroll is a simple example of an application. You can say that ERP is another example of an application. Application is something what you use. So you can have application as a type of cloud service. Right? That's the first level. The second one is in terms of